Today on MTG Unpacked, it's pre-release weekend for the latest set, Tarkir Dragonstorm, and we're taking a look at the Temur Raw Commander deck. So that is green, blue, and red. And the commanders here, we have Ureni and Eshki. So you get a collector booster sample pack, a 100 card deck with 10 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided token cards, strategy, insert, and reference card. So let's get to ripping here. So what does this little message say? Trespassers will be punished. Alright, let's get into it. And these are currently going for $91 US on TCG Player. So pretty pricey. I would suggest maybe waiting until they do a reprint. So here we have the Temur Raw Commander deck. And playing the deck, Commander rules. And what else do we have here? Ureni of the Unwritten and Eshki Temur's Raw. So you can read about that there. On the other side, the magic colors. And playing the deck. Yep, so we saw that already. Alright, then we have what is generously described as a deck box. So these should hold a sleeved deck. I would not recommend it though. You want something a little bit sturdier for your awesome commander deck. We do have some punch outs here on the box. And before we get into the deck, let's take a look at our collector booster sample pack. So just a little taste, normally nothing too crazy in these, but we have had some surprises before. There's more where that came from. Okay, QR code. Then we have a foil Felothar Dawn of the Abzan. Alright, and a Durgo Island Dragon. Okay, so as I said, nothing too exciting there. So let's get into a commander deck and take a good look at this one. And over the coming week, we'll be getting stuck into the rest. So stay tuned. So the first commander here is a mythic. Ureni of the Unwritten, so it's a 7/7 for 4, green, blue, and red legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying and trample. Whenever Ureni enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Alright, and the second one here, we have Eshki Temur's Raw, a legendary creature, human warrior, another mythic. 2/2 for green, blue, and red. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Eshki. If that spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, Eshki deals damage equal to Eshki's power to each opponent. So you can use either one of those as your commander. Next up we have Deceptive Frostkite. Creature Dragon 1/1 for 2 blue. Has flying. You may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control with power 4 or greater, except it's a dragon in addition to its other types, and it has flying. Followed by Hammerhead Tyrant. Creature Dragon 6/6 for 4 and 2 blue with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, return up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that spell's mana value to its owner's hand. Followed by Will of the Temur. Sorcery for 5 and a blue. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both instead. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent, except it's a 4/4 dragon creature with flying in addition to its other types. Target player draws cards equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. Then we got a Parapet Thrasher. Creature Dragon 4/3 for 2 and 2 red. With flying, whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to an opponent, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So you can destroy a target artifact that opponent controls. This creature deals 4 damage to each other opponent or exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. And Thundermane Dragon. Creature Dragon 4/4 for 3 and red with flying. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells with power 4 or greater, which I bet you'll have a ton, from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn. Good deal. Zenith Festival, sorcery for X and 2 red. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. Has Harmonize for X and 2 red. So you may cast this card from your graveyard for its Harmonize cost. You may tap a creature you control to reduce that cost by an amount of generic mana equal to its power, then exile this spell. Then we have Become the Avalanche, sorcery for 4 and 2 green. Draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Then creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Brood Cooler Scourge, creature dragon 5/7 for 5 and 2 green with flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand onto the battlefield. Then we got Kiga the Tide Star, legendary creature dragon spirit 5/5 for 5 and a blue with flying. When Kiga dies, gain control of target creature. Reflections of Litjara, enchantment for 4 and a blue. As this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. And of course, you're going to choose dragons. Oh, it's a mythic. Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, legendary creature dragon spirit 4/4 for 2 and 2 red with flying and trample. When Atsushi dies, choose one. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Create 3 treasure tokens. Blasphemous Act, sorcery for 8 and a red. I think that's some new artwork there. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Blasphemous Act deals 13 damage to each creature. That is insanity. Then we have Chaos Swap, instant for 2 and red. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. And a mythic, Dragon Master Outcast, creature human shaman, 1/1 for a red. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Then we have Gadrak, the Crown Scourge, legendary creature dragon, 5/4 for 2 and a red with flying. It can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. And at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. So that's an artifact with tap, sack this token, add 1 mana of any color. Oh, my old favorite from the good old days, Glorybringer, creature dragon 4/4 for 3 and 2 red with flying and haste. You may exert this creature as it attacks. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. An exerted creature won't untap during your next untap step. I had a complete play set of those dudes. They were awesome. Then we got a mythic, Hellkite Courser, creature dragon 6/5 for 4 and 2 red with flying. When this creature enters, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. Then we have Lathless Dragon Queen, legendary creature dragon 6/6 for 4 and 2 red with flying. Whenever another non-token dragon you control enters, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. And for 1 and a red, dragons you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Oh, another mythic, Leyline Tyrant creature dragon 4/4 for 2 and 2 red with flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end, and when this creature dies, you may pay any amount of red mana. When you do, it deals that much damage to any target. Nesting Dragon. I don't think I've seen this one before. Creature dragon 5/4 for 3 and 2 red with flying. Has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 0/2 red dragon egg creature token with defender, and when its token dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying and pay red. This token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Oh, another mythic, Nogai Draco Zealot. It's a legendary creature, Kobold Shaman, 3/3 for 1 and 2 red. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Good deal. Whenever Nogi attacks, if you control 3 or more dragons until end of turn, Nogi becomes a dragon with base parent toughness 5/5 and gains flying. I like that one. And we have Opportunistic Dragon, creature dragon 4/3 for 2 and 2 red with flying. When this creature enters, choose target human or artifact an opponent controls. For as long as this creature remains on the battlefield, gain control of that permanent. It loses all abilities and it can't attack or block. Scourge of the Throne, creature dragon 5/5 for 4 and 2 red with flying. Has dethroned, so whenever this creature attacks, the player with the most life or tied for the most life put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever this creature attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking the player with the most life or tied for the most life, untap all attacking creatures. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Another Mythic, Skagan Hellkite Creature Dragon, 4/4 for 3 and 2 red, has Riot. This creature enters with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste, has flying, and for 3 and a red, this creature deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Activate only if this creature has a +1/+1 counter on it. Spit Flame, instant for 2 and a red, it deals 4 damage to target creature. Whenever a dragon you control enters, you may pay a red mana, and if you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Then we got Storm's Wrath, sorcery for 2 and 2 red. It deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Another Mythic, Stormbreath Dragon, creature dragon, 4/4 for 3 and 2 red, has flying, haste, and protection from white, and for 5 and 2 red, has Monstrosity 3. If this creature isn't monstrous, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. And when this creature becomes monstrous, it deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. Then we got a Taurian Mauler, creature shapeshifter, 2/2 for 2 and a red, has Changeling, so this card is every creature type. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Territorial Hellkite, creature dragon, 6/5 for 2 and 2 red, has flying and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random that this creature didn't attack during your last combat. This creature attacks that player this combat if able. If you can't choose an opponent this way, tap this creature. Thunderbreak Regent, creature dragon, 4/4 for 2 and 2 red with flying. Whenever a dragon you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. And Vengeful Ancestor, creature spirit dragon, 3/4 for 2 and 2 red with flying. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, goad target creature. So that means until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks the player other than you if able. And whenever a goaded creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller. Another Mythic, Verix Bladewing, legendary creature dragon, 4/4 for 2 and 2 red, has Kicker 3, so you can pay an additional 3 as you cast a spell, has flying. And when Verix Bladewing enters, if it was kicked, create Karox Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying, so we'll keep an eye out for that one later in the video. Then we have Frontier Siege, enchantment for 3 and a green. As this enchantment enters, choose Khans or dragons. So if you choose Khans, at the beginning of each of your main phases, add 2 green mana, and if you chose dragons, whenever a creature you control with flying enters, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. Solvala's Stampede, sorcery for 4 and 2 green, has Council's Dilemma, so starting with you, each player votes for wild or free, reveal cards from the top of your library, until you reveal a creature card for each wild vote. Put those creature cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into your library. You may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield for each free vote. Then we have Ataka Worldrender, legendary creature dragon, 6/4 for 5 red and green with flying and trample. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Another Mythic, Dragonlord Ataka, legendary creature elder dragon, 8/8 for 5 red and green with flying and trample. When it enters, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control. Harbinger of the Hunt, creature dragon, 5/3 for 3 red and green, has flying for 2 and a red. This creature deals 1 damage to each creature without flying, and for 2 and a green, this creature deals 1 damage to each other creature with flying. Then we've got Sarkhan Solar Flame. It's a Mythic, legendary creature human shaman, 2/4 for 1 blue and red. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever a dragon you control enters, you may have Sarkhan become a copy of it until end of turn, except its name is Sarkhan Solar Flame and it's legendary in addition to its other types. Then we've got Temur Ascendancy, enchantment for green, blue and red. Creatures you control have haste, and whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, you may draw a card. Then we have Dragon's Horde artifact for 3. Whenever a dragon you control enters, put a gold counter on this artifact. And if you tap, remove a gold counter from this artifact, you get to draw a card, or tap to add 1 mana of any color. Steel Hellkite, artifact creature dragon 5/5 for 6 with flying, and if you pay 2, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If you pay X, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X whose controller was dealt combat damage by this creature this turn. Activate only once each turn. Okay, so grabbing the next chunk of the deck here. We've got a Cinderglade, land, mountain, forest, tap 4, red or green, enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. And Exotic Orchard, it's a land, tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Flooded Grove, another land, tap 4 colorless or 4 green or blue, tap, add 2 green, 2 blue, or a combo of both. Haven of the Spirit Dragon, tap 4 colorless, tap to add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a dragon creature spell, and for 2, tap, sacrifice this land, return target dragon creature card or Ugin Planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. And Hinterland Harbor, enters tapped unless you control a forest or an island, tap 4 green or blue. Carplusen Forest, tap for colors or tap for red or green. This land deals 1 damage to you. Kessig Wolfrun, tap 4 colors for X, red and green, tap, target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Mossfire Valley, a land for 1, tap, add red and green. And Mossworked Bridge, a land, has Hideaway 4. So when this land enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom in a random order. This land enters tapped. Tap for green, and for a green tap, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. Rockfall Vale, enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, tap for red or green. And Rootbound Crag, enters tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest, tap for red or green. Then we have Sheltered Thicket, tap for red or green, enters tapped, cycle for 2. So you can pay 2, discard this card, draw a card. And Shivan Reef, tap 4 colorless, tap 4 blue or red. This land deals 1 damage to you. Sulphur Falls, enters tapped unless you control an island or mountain, tap 4 blue or red. And Temple of Abandon, enters tapped. When it enters scry 1, tap 4 red or green. Temple of Mystery, enters tapped. When it enters scry 1, tap 4 green or blue. And Yavimaya Coast, tap 4 colorless or tap to add red, or not red, tap to add green or blue. There we go. This land deals 1 damage to you. Dragon Tempest, enchantment for 1 and a red. Whenever a creature you control with flying enters, it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever a dragon you control enters, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons you control. Breaching Dragonstorm, enchantment for 4 and a red. So when this enchantment enters, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if that spell's mana value is 8 or less. If you don't, put that card into your hand. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. Then we've got Temple of the Dragon Queen. As it enters, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. This land enters tapped unless you revealed a dragon card this way or you control a dragon. As this land enters, choose a color. Tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color. Arcane Signet, artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And Soul Ring, there it is in pretty much every commander deck. Artifact for 1, tap for 2 colorless. Command Tower, it's a land, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And Storm Shriek Feral, creature dragon 3/3 for 4 and a red, flying in haste. And for 1 and a red, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Or you can initially cast the Flush Out 1 and a red Sorcery Omen portion. Discard a card if you do, draw 2 cards. Then we have Encroaching Dragonstorm, enchantment for 3 and a green. When this enchantment enters, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. Draconic Law, instant for 5 and a blue. This spell costs 2 less to cast. If you control a dragon, draw 3 cards. Rapid hybridization instant for a single blue, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token. Reality shift instant for 1 and a blue, exile target creature. Its controller manifests the top card of their library. So that means that player puts the top card of their library onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. If it's a creature card, it can be turned face up anytime for its mana cost. Then we have Dragonlord's Servant creature, Goblin Shaman, 1/3 for 1 and red. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And Rapacious Dragon, creature dragon, 3/3 for 4 and a red. With flying, this creature enters, create 2 treasure tokens. Okay, so let's separate out the tokens here. And looks like we have another Omen card here, Whirlwing Stormbrood. Creature dragon, 4/3 for 4 and a blue with flash and flying. You may cast sorcery spells and dragon spells as though they had flash, or the dynamic Soar, 2 and a green sorcery omen, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. So you either do that first and then that one later, or only that and you don't get to do the first part. That's how that works. Beast Within instant for 2 and a green, destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Elemental Bond, that's a nice one. Enchantment for 2 and a green. Whenever a creature you control with power 3 or greater enters, draw a card. Farseek, sorcery for 1 and a green. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp or mountain card. Put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Evolving Wilds, it's a land, tap, sack it. Search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And Frontier Bivouac, the land enters, tap, tap 4. Green, blue, or red. Then we have Kadama's Reach. Sorcery Arcane for 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Migration Path. Sorcery for 3 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Cycle for 2. And Fellwar Stone. Artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Talisman of Creativity, artifact for 2, tap 4 colorless, or tap 4 blue or red. This artifact deals 1 damage to you. And Talisman of Impulse, artifact for 2, tap 4 colorless, or tap 4 red or green. This artifact deals 1 damage to you. And Bountiful Landscape, tap 4 colorless, tap. Select this land, search your library for a basic forest, island, or mountain card. Put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle, or you can cycle for green, blue, and red. Path of Ancestry enters tap. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Okay, then we have basic lands. So islands, 3 of those. Mountains, 6 of those, right? Unless I miscounted. So, yep. And or is it 5? 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep. And then forests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then the tokens here. So we'll see if we find that dragon token we were looking for earlier. Treasure token, tap, sack this token, add 1 mana of any color. And a beast, 3/3, 5/5 flying dragon, treasure, copy token, and a 4/4 flying Karox Bladewing. This is the one we were looking for. Dragon Egg, 0/2 defender. When this token dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying and pay red. This token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Then we have a 2/2 dragon with flying, pay red. This token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. 3/3 frog lizard and a 5/5 flying dragon. Another dragon egg there with a 2/2 dragon. Frog lizard, 3/3 and a 5/5 flying dragon. Treasure on the other side, a 3/3 beast. Dragon, 5/5 flying. Treasure, 5/5 flying dragon with a copy token. And parts of the turn and popular Magic formats. Okay, so this deck, as you might expect, tons of honking huge dragons. Looks pretty cool. I'll be interested to see how they distinguish all of the other decks from this one. So we actually have 5 decks this time round. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I would recommend waiting until the price drops. It's currently going for $90 US on TCG Player. And stay tuned for the rest of the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander decks. And if you've missed any of the Tarkir Dragonstorm videos on the channel, I'll pop a link in the corner to the complete playlist. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.